Hey, good to see you, sort of. In this video, we're gonna unpack how to engage a virtual team through something everyone has access to, quotes. It's amazing how words can be really engaging, right? A mentor of mine used to say that a choice of words is often a choice of worlds. And so in this video, I'm gonna share how you can use quotes to really engage your virtual team in a couple ways. But also, this is a little bit of a different video because if you jump straight to this timestamp, I'm actually gonna facilitate an exercise called quick quotes that you can lead with your team. And when I say facilitate, I mean, I'm gonna speak as if I was speaking to your team. So you could, if you wanted to, jump to this timestamp and cue me up and let me facilitate the exercise with your group. Or you can just watch me facilitate it because it'll give you instantly, give you a really good sense on how you can take it and lead it yourself. The good thing about this strategy and activity is it's tested. Now you can tailor it to your group, but I get to work with some of the top organizations and universities on the planet, helping them lead workshops and keynotes on how to make connection and engagement easy in an online and offline context. And so this is not something that I just pulled out of my pocket and was like, maybe this will work. Tested it and tried it with many groups, and it's amazing the impact that it has on group engagement. That said, let's get into it. Quick note before I just go ahead and lead this activity. You only need Google, technically, to lead this exercise. However, I'm gonna be utilizing and sharing a variety of quotes from a deck of cards called We Engage cards. Really great resource to engage a team or a group. You don't need the deck, but if you do want access to either the deck, if you want to get it shipped to your house, or if you actually just want to download a free digital version, you can check out the link in the description. You can send that link, the link to the free digital version of this card deck, to your team as well, so that they can look through quotes and choose which one, right? Because in the exercise or activity, I'm gonna be inviting people to choose quotes, have some discussion around them in a creative, somewhat gamified way. This quick quotes exercise is a really, really great way to create connection before content as well. If you've watched any of my other videos on this channel, you'll know that that idea of connection before content is so important to engaging a virtual team. Without it, I would argue that you're fighting a very uphill battle in trying to get engagement. Because typically when we try to get engagement from a group, it's actually manipulation, right? We're trying to get them to do something that they may not feel like doing. But when you can create and foster that culture of connection and create that connection before content in little sips and bites at the beginning of meetings, engagement will increase. All right, this is the point where I go to just speak to your team and actually facilitate the exercise. So feel free to watch as a way of learning how you might adapt and facilitate this exercise for your group, or this is the time where you could just queue up the video and screen share, pop it up on the screen and play and let me facilitate at pause and moments that make sense. Hey y'all, good to be in cyberspace in this little pixelated box with you all. I'm Chad, and I'm joining you right now to offer a little bit of a disruption in your typical flow of meetings. Meetings are usually filled with words, right? We say lots and lots of words in any given meeting. In fact, if somebody's talking most of the time in a 60-minute meeting, it's like a chunk of a book, right? It's a lot of words. Now, sometimes there's some fluff in there, and the reason that I think we love quotes like, "There is no world, there are only 6 billion understandings of it," are because quotes typically are very concise strings of words. And so to offer a little bit of disruption here, I want to do an exercise called quick quotes. And very simply, either if you've got this deck of cards lying around with a bunch of quotes on it, grab a quote or head to the Google and choose a quote that represents something that you really care about or believe in. And either bring that quote back if it's on a physical card or picture or image, or go ahead and copy that quote from the Google and drop it in the chat. And what I'd love you to do as a group is just fill the chat thread with a whole bunch of quotes that represent ideas that you really care about and believe in. And the cool thing happening right now is we're having like 10 meetings all at once, right? Because virtually everyone can speak at the same time by typing right? By using this little keyboard, everybody can speak at the same time. And then by scrolling up the chat, you can also listen to what everybody shared. And so look at the quotes that your team chose to represent something they really care about or believe in. So now is a really good time to pause the video and go find a quote, grab that quote and bring it back and drop it in the chat, or hold it up to the screen to share. All right, everybody's got their quote, got it in the chat. Now you can feel free to completely go off script of this video and this facilitation and do what you want with those. So you could have people break out, have discussions right now. But what I'll invite you to do is a little quote swap. So one of the cool things about sharing what we really believe in is we find other people that also believe in those things as well. It's an amazing way to connect to the core of what's important to somebody rather than just, surfacey commonalities like, oh, we live in the same state or town or place, right? Those are like surface level connections. Deeper connections are, what do we actually care about, believe in, and is that aligned or where does that overlap? So what I'd love you to do is scroll up in the chat and find a quote that somebody else shared that you really, really love, that you also believe in and connect to in some way, and go ahead and unmute and just say, hey, blank, fill in their name. So, hey, Sarah, I really love the quote that you shared. And then go ahead and actually read that quote to the group. There's some magic when quotes are just written in a chat in a format like this, but there's also something even cooler when quotes are actually spoken, when they're verbalized, right? We took this person's wisdom from maybe recently or long ago, and we're bringing it back to life. And there's something really cool about that. And this idea that a choice of words is often a choice of worlds can kind of come alive when we reflect and share the quotes that really resonate with us in the group. I hope this was super fun to hang out. This was one video in a series of 4 on how to engage virtual teams where I just share 4 activities. So this was quick quotes. There's another video on visualizing values. There's another one called Panic Picture, and one final activity, perhaps my favorite, called Inspiring Intention. So if this was really useful to you, feel free to check out those in the links in the description. It was awesome hanging out in cyberspace. I'm Chad. Have an awesome day.